You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Palace of Mega Pencils. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Well, hello and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Oh, happy Monday.
See how fast I get through that now?
Yeah. Now it's like, we've got this down.
Mm-hmm. I can just change my cadence, my rhythm, and just run with it. However you want me to do it. In fact, I'll even throw that out to the siblings. If you want me to say it in a very particular way, just tweet us.
Kind of like the guy who does the honest trailers.
Yeah.
You know, where they all suggest like, hey, do this one. But we could be like, hey, introduce her as insert whatever here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you've got some suggestions, by all means, and I'll humor you as best I can.
He could probably do it.
Possibly. Just
Very
depends.
good at impression.
I feel like I'm a pretty good mimic.
Yeah, you are.
A little business up top. If you haven't already, I don't know who amongst our siblings are fans of other podcasts that we may or may not do, but we had a fun conversation over on Horror Ramblings this past Friday, which I would recommend people go check out, because we were talking about a movie called Freaks from 1932. Now, have you ever seen this movie?
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen very little from back in the non-talkie days.
Sure. This was a film that I was familiar with in some ways, but not like wholly familiar with. So it was a fun experience for me to kind of look into it and just everything about it. And I highly recommend going and listening to the conversation. The reason I'm bringing it up too is we also had a returning guest over there, John Brennan, who is on The Last Drive-In and does his own music and stuff like that. He's a talent amongst himself and got his own things that he does. So I highly recommend checking out his stuff. But the movie itself is just, it's a pre-code, era horror movie. And again, when I say horror, there's a specific idea that I have in mind for horror, but back then I can understand how it could be classified as horror.
Right.
Like
because maybe suspense, maybe it wasn't like it is today where everything's just got to be gore and this kind of stuff. Yeah.
And it's kind of like how we would view the classic Universal Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman. They're not gory. They're not really
like even Hitchcock flicks.
Yeah. There's elements to it that you understand why it's horror, but it's we're so
we're desensitized.
Exactly.
These days. Yeah.
But
back then this was probably really freaky. Aha.
Exactly. And that's the fascinating part of the history behind it is if you look into it, this movie was banned for decades, all because of the people in it. And it was they got actual, and I hate to use the term, and I even said this on the podcast, but freak show freaks. Like people who were in these shows.
Like legit went on the circuses kind of things. Oh, okay.
So, for example,
so
like
people
there was
seeing a thing they don't understand.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the controversy, when you look into it, that's what it was, is that people saw them and were just like, how dare you show us these people? Right. And it was like, but they can't help who they are.
Right.
And even you hear some of the behind the scenes drama. There were just people, crew, and things like that. It's like, you have to put them somewhere else. We can't eat around them. So they had to set up special tents and stuff for them to go sit in. And it's very disgusting in that regard, because they're treating them so inhumanely, but they are human.
They're people. Yes, like anyone else.
Right.
Born the same way, will die the same way. Bleed the same way. That's so mean.
Mm-hmm. So in that regard, it's fascinating. But also when you take a look at other elements of the history, you find out, or at least I did, Like, you look at the runtime for the movie, and it's barely over an hour long. And you'd think, well, at the time, I guess, some movies didn't run very long. But it was originally 90 minutes. And 20 to 30 minutes of that was cut because audiences were like, oh, my God, this is too much. I can't take it. Oh, my God. And you wonder what was removed. Like, I've done extensive research trying to find out, like, what scenes were removed. There are, like, working scripts where you can find and kind of follow along and just get elements of what was possibly removed. The most egregious cut, which understandably, I guess I can get why it was cut, but the way it's described, it doesn't feel like it's graphic. So you're kind of wondering, like, I guess I get it, but at the same time I don't, is the original ending. And if you don't want to know, spoilers ahead.
For a 100-year-old movie?
for a scene that's not even in the movie.
I'll make it. I'll let you spoil it for me.
But
if it's been on your to-do list, it's probably been long enough.
Yeah, maybe. But the original ending, the basic plot of the movie is this trapeze artist is being fawned over by one of the freaks. I don't know what else to call them.
Yeah, well, that's what they're called in the movies.
As far as a generalized term.
Yes.
He's a little person. And in fact, he was actually one of the Lollipop Guild, which I found fascinating. Yeah, he was the one who handed Dorothy the lollipop. So if you go back and watch The Wizard of Oz, that was him. But he plays the guy who kind of is part of this freak show circus, and he's in love with the trapeze artist. She's a tall, dashing blonde, and he's just head over heels for her. And she kind of uses that to her advantage to get what she wants from him. She finds out he's loaded and decides she's going to marry him and then, off him, take his money, and then there you go.
Yeah.
So that's the basic premise of it. Now, obviously, the horror element comes into when the freaks find out what the plot is and they get their revenge, their comeuppance.
Ah, okay.
The original ending was supposed to show what they did to the lady, and they did show it, but I think there was more to it. They actually turned her into a freak. So now she was a freak show attraction, and they do show that. So that's not, cut from it. But she had an accomplice, and his scene was completely cut, but you were supposed to cut, like someone was questioning. It's like, well, whatever happened to that guy? And you cut to a stage where this big hulking brute, who was just this big tough guy, is now singing falsetto. And it's implied he was castrated.
Gotcha. Yeah,
so you're like, oh, okay. But apparently that was a bridge too far for audiences back in the 1930s.
Well, I mean, we've got to protect the men's stuff, you know? That's always been, over the years, the one consistent that gets protections from all the things.
Right.
Doesn't work? Here, take a free pill. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
men's penises are taken care of throughout history.
So, I mean, we had a fun conversation with it. It's definitely an interesting movie. My criticisms of it, and it's not criticisms in the sense of like, oh, it's a bad movie. I think it's a great movie with a great message that the people at the time did not understand.
Right, yeah.
Because it was sympathetic to our freaks, as it were.
Sympathetic to people who just don't look like everyone else that you're used to seeing every day.
Yeah, and luckily...
And clearly not even thinking they were real enough to be so brazenly confident speaking out against this movie because of... horrible.
Yeah. And luckily they at least had some characters in the movie who were not vicious toward them. They did have sympathetic, normal, which again, I hate disassociating,
but
you know what
interaction
I mean.
You would have with people, treating them like a human, imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like one character in specifically that I thought that I kind of found the most fascinating is there was a lot of them that were actually fascinating. There was a guy they called the half boy, and he's just a torso and up and can get around on his arms like it's nobody's business. Like he can book it. And it's just fascinating. There was another guy who was essentially had no arms, no legs. He was just a torso and a head. And they had a scene where he got a cigarette in his mouth and lit it with his mouth. And you're just sitting here watching this whole thing like, how the fuck? And apparently there was even a cut scene that showed him roll it. And I can't even fathom that.
Like with their lips?
Yeah.
I feel like it would be so hard to smoke after that.
But
like it's all wet.
But apparently he did it. And that's a scene I really wish was still in there because lighting it is impressive enough. Rolling it?
Rolled it all too.
Holy shit. You know?
Yeah, we need to see that.
But who else? Oh, did you ever watch American Horror Story Freak Show?
I think I watched season 2 and some of season 3, and then I found it getting dull, so I didn't continue. That one doesn't sound familiar.
Okay,
I mean that's witches sound right. The last thing I remembered.
Right. No, they took some inspiration for that season from this film, and there were certain characters who were very similar to those characters or those actors. And one in particular was, they call them, and again, this is another one of those terms I don't like, but I don't really know what to call it. They call them pinheads, or they have very small heads, like they're not developed. There were 3 actors in there that were classified as such. I think the actual medical term is microcephaly. I think that's correct.
Yeah, I don't know.
And one of them specifically is patterned, or one of the characters in Freak Show is patterned off of this one character. And he's such a sweetheart type, you know, and I think I even read that he had trying to find the correct term here, not technically Down syndrome, but something in that realm.
Like autistic, on the autistic spectrum, or
I don't think specifically. I don't know. He had some kind of condition like that.
Well, we used to call one version Asperger's too, but I think that's been moved over into autism now as well, and we don't actually use that term anymore for whatever reason. Sure. I didn't look into if it was actually mean or something. I just knew that's what it was called when I was growing up, and now it's not.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
That's part of the issue too, is trying to make sure that I'm using the correct terminology, because I'm not trying to offend. And that movie
was probably trying to, though, like that they knew that would probably be why it was scary.
Perhaps, and
knowing how humans were then.
Oh yeah, I mean, people back then were just horrible people who could not just. Because for me, and possibly...
Well, they weren't exposed to everything either like we are now, where we're just like bashed over the head with everything to the point where it's like nothing freaks you out anymore. You're like, yeah, that's got to be a thing. That makes sense. Back then, they were like, what is this shit? Yeah.
But I mean, and you may be right, the desensitization of ourselves, but I found them fascinating. I did not look at them and was just like, ew, gross. It was just like, this is fascinating to me. The fact that they're even just how they're interacting with people, how they get around some of them. And it's fascinating.
Yeah,
I
you
think
adapt.
So.
Yeah.
So I recommend
crafty.
Checking out the movie. It's on streaming platforms. I don't know if it's on any specific platform.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask.
Not how do you say it? For free, if you will. Like if you're subscribed to something, I don't think it's on there, but it is available to rent.
Gotcha.
If you wanted to do that on a platform.
Freaks is what it was called?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
1932.
1932. All right.
So it's a fun, interesting little time capsule. You can tell at times where something's missing, you know what I mean? Like I said, where they had to cut it down, so you transition from one scene to another, and you're just like, wow, there felt like something should have been right there. And
probably was, and they just took a little snip, and then put those two pieces together, and out it was.
Yeah.
And they didn't have like the computers to make it all such a smooth transition, so it's very abrupt.
And we did, fingers crossed, we were talking about that as well. Maybe, possibly, there could be that lost footage out there. It's highly unlikely. The chances are very, very slim.
Yeah.
But shit has resurfaced in the past, so it could possibly be out there somewhere, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Was there a larger production company behind it or something?
I think this was an MGM product.
That's why I was wondering, maybe if it was one of those big ones and not some indie flick or something, that they might actually still. So maybe, I don't know for a fact, but
there's a possibility. But there have also been fires. They didn't used to take care of film footage like they used to back then. So again, highly unlikely, but not impossible. Because stuff has surfaced that people thought was lost. So I'm hoping.
We'll see. Maybe. Hopefully. Yeah.
Anyway, what else? Oh, I didn't want to talk about this. Did you ever watch Community when it was on?
Mm-hmm.
I decided to rewatch that after the announcement that they're finally doing a movie for Peacock.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, but continue.
Well, I mean, that was always the plan, or what was the joke? 6 seasons and a movie. So I'm intrigued enough to stick with that. And I don't know. I just kind of going back to it and revisiting it. There's a lot that just kind of blows my mind.
Great. I thought it
really
was
is.
I love ensemble casts when you could find an ensemble that works so well together.
Yeah.
Love it. Because then you're not just following one individual. They were all really great.
Mm-hmm.
I just never cared for Chevy Chase throughout the entirety of my lifetime. So I bit the bullet with him because I liked the rest of them and it seemed fine. Mm-hmm. And honestly, the last season without him was just as good for me. So, is he coming back though?
No, he is not. In fact,
they didn't get along. Right?
I think some pot shots have been taken toward him.
From Joel?
I think
likes
Joel
to run his mouth. Yeah.
I think Joel McHale said something to the effect of when they were talking about this upcoming movie, he's like, yeah, we're getting it written. It's like it's going to be all the cast back together minus the assholes. And I was just like, okay. And people were just like, we see where
know.
Yeah,
we know where you're going. Fun fact, have you watched any of that Animal Control that he's on now?
I was looking at it, but I heard some kind of mixed reviews.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know if it'll last that long, but he did make a joke in there where he was saying something in Spanish and they were like, Spanish? He's like, yeah, I took it at a community college. And I was like, that's kind of funny.
That's good.
So you'd have to have watched it to get it, but when he said that, I was like, okay, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, no, it's just been kind of fun. I think the most jarring thing for me is Donald Glover, because this is where I did see him first.
I feel like maybe that's when I first started paying attention.
Yeah, but I hadn't seen it in so long, and then I had watched Atlanta and seen him in all these other projects.
Where he's grown so much. Yeah.
That's what I've known. Like, that's how I perceive him now. And then going back to see him play Troy, it's so jarring. But he's so good.
His buddy, that the way they played off of each other was so amazing. Yeah, he's talented, man.
Yeah, it's just
I tell you.
You cannot deny the man's talent. If you can look at both ends of those spectrums, like his range.
Well, to be fair, people who are good at comedy will slay drama. Like every time I see like an amazing comedian wanting to step over into drama, I'm like, they're going to kill it.
Yeah.
They're going to kill it. Comedy is what's hard. Drama's fucking easy.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Anyone can. I know a lot of people who can pretend to be angry, upset, sad. That's an easy emotion. Making people laugh, that shit's hard.
Yeah. See, it's funny you say that. I remember one of the most interesting conversations I've ever heard regarding that, like a comedian going into or doing a drama or a dramatic part, is on back when Gilbert Gottfried had his podcast. Someone had kind of posed the question about Gilbert playing Willie Loman in Death of a Salesman and said, I think he would kill it.
Yeah.
And he was modest about it. He's like, oh, well, maybe, I don't know. Like, I'm being
humble.
Yeah, because that's not what we think of Gilbert for me.
But that's the shtick, that's the persona.
But he would kind of be like, oh, well, thank you. Maybe, I don't know. But they would push it, and they would continue to pose that question to a lot of bigger actors that, be like, what would you think about that? And they were like, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, he would kill it.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things I feel like we missed out on, because I would have loved to have seen him pull some dramatic role like that. Because it would have been so out of left field.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Most great comedians that I've seen, like now when I see them wanting to go over into drama, I'm like, they're just going to kill it and it's going to be amazing. Like if there's that one out there now, maybe if they're not a great comedian, but that's all relative though. You know, humor is relative. So
that is true.
Yeah. I mean, look at Robin Williams. Freaking killed it, right? Chris Farley was going to kill it, but we just didn't get the chance to finish it. Freaking Bill Hader. Hello.
Oh my God. Are we excited about Barry?
Oh my God. I can't wait. I'm sorry, you guys. I just finally started it the last couple of weeks and I'm freaking obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. I almost want to watch it all over again. I freaking love him. I almost might have a little crush on him, like a talent crush.
He is so talented.
Yes. Like, no one should be allowed to be that talented. I'm sorry. It makes you a little sick. Not like in a good way. Because he was even in a interview the other night for prepping for season 4 or whatever. And my God, just like a lovely human and everything. Like, you want to hate him, but you can't. Like,
well,
why
whoever
does any
hates
human
him
get that much talent and be lovely? Like, that, whatever. Good for you, Bill Hader.
Yeah, no, he's...
Good for you.
Anytime I see a clip of him on YouTube or whether it's like an interview with Conan or something like I have to watch it.
You have to.
Because
it's going to be fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whether he's doing, like his impressions are just, even when he's not doing impressions, it's just everything about him. I love that man so much. And
yeah, I do too. No.
I think it was I'm trying to think of something I knew him from prior to Barry. Other than Saturday Night Live.
Than SNL, yeah. What was it that I saw? Wasn't he also in Superbad for a minute?
Yes,
which
that's
reminded me after, you know, it was one of those things that in the moment, I don't know that it was clicking who I was seeing or whatever, you know, because I can't remember where in the timeline that fell, SNL or movie, you know?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But yeah, prior to Barry, I felt like I had enough of a connection with the actor to be like, oh yeah, I kind of like that
I know
guy.
who he is.
Yeah. Like it wouldn't have been, because I was drawn to the series immediately. I was like, oh, okay, that's it. Like the concept was interesting. He was a selling point, and I thought, all right, I'm willing.
I should have started it sooner. I think I was still bitter with Dexter and You and all that stuff, and I should have known his tone would have been way different. I mean, clearly, the dramedy line, my God, like it might be one of my favorites, like ever. As far as writing, acting, story arcs with characters, like you got it all.
And as I mentioned to you, I read a review. This guy said he watched 7 of 8 episodes. This season is going to be completely unexpected. And in his opinion, doesn't mean everybody will agree, but in his opinion, could be one of the great, if it sticks to landing, could be one of the greatest series of all time.
I could believe it. Actually.
I'm down for it.
Yeah, let's see. I'm here for it. I don't think they'll flub it, though. My God, maybe I'm putting too much confidence, but I can't see them flubbing the ending. I feel like they would have had some sort of arc in mind before they started.
Well, think about this. This is another detail he laid out. He said that in previous seasons, Bill Hader had only really directed a few episodes here and there. He apparently directed this whole season.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, he's directing it, you guys. See? How does one person contain all of that talent? Fucking A. Sorry,
but you think about that. That's him saying, hey, I have a vision and I don't want anyone to muck that up. This is final season. Baby. I want to take care of it. I'm going to do it myself. I know that feeling.
Yeah, you do.
So you lock it down and you take care of it. And that's what he's doing. So
I can't wait. Started yesterday. So I'm already happy by the time you're listening to this.
I think what's going to drive me mad is I know we've talked about it, but the one episode drop, it's just like, oh God, I want more.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for me now since I literally got to binge 1 through 3 back to back and then felt hollow inside when there was nothing left for me to see. So again, I think binge watching is not good for humans, or at least for someone like me who's kind of an empath. As soon as I'm into it and love it, then I will feel very sad for a couple of days that it's out of my life now. So I think I need to... It's going to be hard.
It is, yeah.
But I need that once a week back again so I feel less lonely inside when my people are gone.
Yeah, no.
I internalize that shit, man. It's not good.
It is. It's a very difficult line to toe because there are some shows we've been watching here lately and every week we get to the ending and they leave it on such a I won't say a cliffhanger, but you're just left wanting more so
Which
bad.
Is how they
it's
should.
Like, please, for love of God, I want more of this. And I would just wish you just gave me one more. But but then I remember, I'm like, I'll be back next week. I know I will.
Yeah.
I just, in the moment, you're just craving it.
Oh, sure.
But I can.
Well, I watched that interview and they showed a clip and I was like, no, just go back and show us the rest of the episode. Now I'm like, you know what I mean? I was like, no, don't show me a little bit. I need the whole thing. But yeah, no, for sure. Anyway, original story, like comedians make good dramatic actors. Or what were we talking about before that? I feel like that led into something. Whatever.
We were talking about Community and then we went down a big fucking rabbit hole.
I'm sure people are like, yep, there they go, as soon as we said something.
Anyway. Oh, by the way, now that I'm going to talk about that, the perfect segue into that, us rambling. Okay. So I've tried, because I don't think about it, and I'm still trying to figure out on Anchor, and I haven't figured it out, but time codes, okay? Some platforms make it easy, some platforms do not. Now, with Super Mario Brothers, and we did our review last week with Eric, I thought this would be a great time to test time codes, because what did our favorite hater say? Woofy, click on this. He put in a time code, so you didn't have to listen to everything. Okay, well, we rambled, so I put in a time code, and I even went back and put it on a few others like Tetris and a few others just to test.
Yeah.
Well, at least on YouTube, listens went up. So that's all people want to hear, our reviews, our thoughts. And we got hate for it too, because someone didn't like, I know, but someone didn't like what we had to say. They had to give us a thumbs down. And that's always, I noticed that as a trend with anything I post on YouTube. Okay. Anytime there's an opinion to be had, we always get a thumbs down when it's a high count video.
Well, and what's interesting is the comment that they made, I don't really think reflected any of the conversation we were having. Because if I recall, and granted, I forget one week to the next what we talk about. And sometimes I listen back, sometimes I don't. You know, it just kind of depends on that week or whatever. But we were just having a conversation about, you know, how it was a thing before they went in there. People were talking about their voices and the voice actors and the blah, 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 blah. And so this guy commented about like not worrying about who the individual is, just go off of talent. And that's fair. And I don't recall us saying it had to be this or it had to be that. We were just going, unless I'm forgetting a portion of the conversation.
I think what that kind of stemmed from was John Leguizamo boycotting the film because he felt like they had an opportunity.
When we talked about it, it wasn't our opinion though.
Yeah, we were just commenting on it, that he was saying, no, I'm not going to watch a movie because they didn't have, or they could have casted someone with a proper ethnicity and they didn't. So he just felt like they missed another opportunity. And that's a fair argument.
Sure.
But again, our commenter did not agree. And
I think most people's confusion could be situated and settled by reading all of a thing and listening to all of a thing.
Yeah.
Most comments that I read don't make sense anymore because I'm like, oh, you just heard it, ran it through your filter of a brain and spit out something completely different. And then now I have to defend it. This seems like your problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the intent at all.
And I even threw out a comment saying, you know, people do care about.
People think it is important, and that's fine too. You know,
it's representation. I get it. There are elements when it comes to voice acting where I feel like it maybe has gone a step too far. My opinion. Yeah. My opinion. If like a character,
as far as like casting incorrectly or
where it becomes so nitpicky about who's voicing what. If it doesn't matter, like if it's some side character and they needed a voice, and say it was a person of color and they just had one of their regular voice casts, it's a 1-bit part, you know, and you're going to say, well, we've got to cast a person of color for this role, even though it's one line. It's like, but now you're taking it a step too far because this is such a throwaway line.
I think if anyone could be anyone, I don't think it should matter.
Right.
You know, but
I'm not.
I can remember the animation.
To clarify, I'm not saying
right, but
I'm not saying that you shouldn't cast properly. But in a situation like that, now if it was a full-fledged character that's going to be in the show, then yeah, go for it. But
like those one-off
little bit parts
that
like
pushes
that,
the story forward, but that's it.
Yeah, if it's nothing, then I don't think it should matter. If it's an actual character, then yes, then it should matter. But again, that's a slippery slope because I can talk about it because I'm a white man.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it in Cleveland show? Isn't Cleveland a white guy and then the other guy is a black guy like in real life? Everybody switched.
Yeah, everybody. Well, his family, everybody in the family was a black actor except for Rollo, which was also done by Mike Henry, who did Cleveland. So you had a white.
I knew the actor of Cleveland was white, and then his like nemesis white actor guy, or white guy was a black actor, and I found that completely fascinating because of the dialogue between the two. Like, had to be kind of hilarious to film together. Honestly,
no, for sure,
you know.
So anyway. I mean, but that was kind of a fun dichotomy in how they kind of handled that because you were saying, okay, well, here is this actor playing this character, so reverse it. Just do it that way.
I would have had no clue had they not pointed it out to me because they were just talented individuals playing a thing. So that's, I get both sides.
I get it. You know, I don't think it's a hill to die on or people just put your foot down. Talent should be considered, but also representation should be considered as well.
Yeah.
First and foremost. So whatever. I'm not going to argue with a guy. I tried talking.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's allowed their own opinion about it, and some people have enough hubris to think we're all supposed to care about that opinion, so that it is what it is. We move on.
Anyway, what have you been playing?
Ooh, I found a new one this week called Against the Storm. It's not new to me. Like, it was one of those that landed on my Steam timeline that was on like a 2-day sale and was like, you've played games similar to this. And so when I clicked on it, it's kind of like if Frostpunk and Anno had a baby. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it for the 2 hours. You know, and see, because I was reading reviews, everyone was being so kind about it and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, we'll try it. I have now been playing for 10 hours that I just found it the other day. I can't put it down. And so you're playing a viceroy to the queen. It's 100% just, it's not action adventure or anything like that. And like cannibalism is an option. Guys, when that's an option in my games, when war crimes are awesome, like I'm here for it. RimWorld, hello. But you're a viceroy and you're to the queen and you're there to rebuild this burning city from this blight that happens once every several decades or generations or whatever. And so it's continuously going. It's always raining. And then you get buffs depending on if it's like a light drizzle, full on. The blight itself is just thunder, whatever. But the maps are kind of randomly generated in your city building phase. So you're never going to play the same map twice. So once you finally get started, your overarching goal is to fix the burning city. But then you choose another place on the map to clean up that city, if you will, around it, around the big thing. So when you go into it, that's where it feels more Frostpunky because you're going to discover areas. It's going to open it up. They call it glades. And then you're still going to have to put housing down depending on how many people you get. And you can play like you get lizards or beavers, humans. And now I just got a harpy. And they all, of course, have their own specialties, like the beavers, of course, cutting down wood and stuff. Totally. They're awesome at, right? Humans are good at just like farming and stuff, which I thought was hilarious. I'm like, cool, I'll just put them out there. Humans suck anyway. Just put them in the fields. And then harpies are like good at making clothes. So, and snakes are really good for some reason at gathering meat and smoking jerky. Whatever. I don't know why that, I don't know how that hits in the animal world, but here we are. And so as you're collecting, the more people, obviously more food is needed to be had. You're building the city out and you can just keep going and going and going depending on how many glades you open up. And then there's some that are forbidden where it'll have some hard mission that you're going to have to accomplish before it screws everything up. So materials will be very key, and unlocking the correct buildings to make said materials. If you choose the wrong one in your like freebie, they're like, hey, you've earned enough points, now choose a blueprint. If you accidentally get the wrong one, like you're locked into that choice you made. And so if you're needing another material that maybe you didn't unlock, you're probably just going to lose that round, because the whole base of it is to get through certain directives before the queen gets too impatient and shuts it all down, basically. So there's 2 bars at the bottom, and the longer it takes you to finish any of your goals, she'll just get more and more impatient. So like in Frostpunk, when it just got too cold and we all died, just think of it that way. It got too cold, we all died, we're done. I've only managed to finish 2 to completion so far. Like, I'm still trying to learn all the things, and you know, I wasn't paying attention at first with like overarching orders that I could put on the city. So buffs, and I'm just like, fine, choose this house, choose this building, choose this thing. And I'm like, oh, we need to pay attention a little bit more. But you don't even know what all the directives will be, because they unlock every like 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have 3 boxes to choose from, and it'll tell you which thing would you like to do, and you've got to complete it to move it along. And then in 8 minutes, the rest will start going. So if you're really slow at getting them done, you could possibly have like all of them to do at one time, or she might just get too impatient with you and shut it all down. But I am having so much fun with it. And there's like cycles, like seasons in there. So that depends on how much their hostility towards what they're doing matters, or like if they feel like they're being taken care of, they'll leave you. Like, if they're just too stressed out and don't like it, they'll just straight up leave. And I still, to this moment, don't know what happened, but I must have hit some kind of curse or whatever. All of a sudden, the whole right side lit up about all of these people died. This person died. The snake died. The beaver died. It was just like this line. I'm like, did I just lose like all of my people? You know, because it was a long list.
Yeah.
I had 2 people left, like a beaver and a human, for my whole thing. And I'm like, well, I hope some more come along here soon, because, yeah, new villagers will show up I don't remember what the time limit is. So it's kind of like a real-time strategy in it as well, because you do have to wait the 8 real minutes for it to unlock, unless I fast forward times 3, then
Gotcha.
It'll move with that time. But yeah. So like, I'm pretty addicted to it right now. I want to get through more of it. It was kind of scratching that Frostpunk itch that I've had, even though I didn't want to go back to Frostpunk, just because I've beaten it a few times now. And I know it's kind of randomly generated as well, as far as like the story beats go when you start over a new one. But this one just seems like it does it more with, like, you have the same story beat, but each map's going to be different. Which buildings fall will be different. Which makeup of people or animals, whatever we want to call them in this, since it's a mix, show up. So yeah, I'm digging it. And that's the only thing new that I really dove into this week, because I was binging Barry. And I wasn't going to have anything else get in my way until I was done. Like, you guys, when I say I was obsessed, like, it was all I could think about was like, I need to get off work so I could go finish watching Barry.
Yeah.
And then when I was done, I'm like, like I said, the next day I felt so hollow. I'm like, what do I do now? So I found this game and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know? But what have you been playing?
Well, I played a little bit more of Resident Evil 8. Story-wise, I really wish I had more time to play it, but I haven't. I've had one day, if anything, but it was a couple hours.
Like, I have no life. I can do all the things all the time. Yeah.
And I got, like, where I'm at story-wise, if you've played it, I am practically on my way out of the castle. Like, I've got everything I need to get out of the castle. I just need to step outside of the room that I'm in, put the mask on the pedestal, and then the gates will open and I can get out of the castle. That's where I'm at. So hopefully I can do that today since it's raining and I have nothing better to do. So
right, yeah. It's kind of funny we got the same weather on the same day.
Right. I mean, yesterday was so nice.
Cloud. It really was.
And I actually took advantage. I went outside and did some yard work, which I have not had a chance to do, and my back hurts now because of it. But I did it, and I got
took a few
stuff
walks.
done. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Look at you being productive. I was just like, I'll walk around the block a few times.
I tried to just do what I could and make the most of it, but anyway.
What do you do? Yeah.
But I did that. But I will say this: I did play one other thing, but this was not. I wouldn't say console related, more mobile game, and I haven't played Sudoku in a while. And something came across my phone, and it was just like, "Hey, you want to play?" And I was like, "Yeah, Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I haven't played Sudoku in a while, just to kind of get my brain going. And
remember when we had to do them out of the newspaper?
yeah. I have a book. I have a book that I've not completed, but I bought that some time ago. And what I've been trying to do playing this mobile game now, I'm not saying, because I don't want to be one of those people who say, well, you're playing video games wrong if you play it on easy. For me, Sudoku is a challenge when it gets up to the higher difficulties. Because
when you're missing less digits.
That's where I find my challenge. So I've just been playing the game as they present it to me. So sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's medium, sometimes it's hard. Now, easy, it's easy for me. I can take a look at the blocks pretty quickly and go like that. So, but the other challenge I've been trying to put on myself is that when I get into the hard mode, is I don't make the notes, because I used to do that quite a bit, where you'd mark, okay, well, it can only be this number and this number, and then this number and this number. Now, I've had to do it on occasion since I've been playing, because...
Oh, so you just stare at it and then fill it all in at once?
Yeah.
Really?
I do.
Okay, no, I have to do it along. I wouldn't remember all that. So I'm going to give you an applause right there. If I got into the hard one, I don't know that I could just stare at it and be like, aha, without making notes. Anyway, continue.
No,
right.
It really depends.
To me.
No, it really depends, because on occasion I will. Like if I've stared at it long enough and I'm just like, apparently my brain's getting jumbled and I need the footnotes because I'm missing something somewhere. Like if I've gone over every square 2 or 3 times, that's when I'll start making notes. Okay. Because I've started to miss something, something didn't click. But 9 times out of 10, I'm looking at it and I'm trying to find the connective tissue, because if I can find one number, then that'll just knock more numbers down, and then it's a pattern. So it just depends. But yeah, I've been playing it while kind of watching TV, because it's something I can do and still focus on. Like I tried it yesterday, and I can't remember what we were watching, but it was a show I'm interested in, but I just had that itch, like I gotta Sudoku right now. And
your brain wasn't in the mood for focusing on a story at the time.
But I still was, like I was listening to everything going on, and I was still reacting to it as I was hearing it, but it didn't take my focus away from the Sudoku, because I'm just looking at numbers.
Right.
And I could still hear what was going on. So it did not require any more focus than numbers, story, got it. And that's that. So I don't know. It's just been kind of nice going back to something simple like that. And it's the kind of game I was looking for. I even told you that.
Did you ever try the Alien Invasion?
No, I didn't look that up yet, but I will. So I do need to look that up.
I was like, he just playing a game with aliens eating stuff. When he told me the title, I'm like, really? It was just that easy? All right.
It's like, yep.
Right. You're not hiding nothing from you.
Well, what do you got in the way of news?
We got a little bit to chat about this week. Let's see here. We'll just start off with something kind of lighter that I'm pretty sure we're all very aware of and made us all probably chuckle. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, been delayed yet again. Now we're talking like a 9-month delay from its original release date, if we recall, was supposed to be in May, I believe, of this year. So, and then it was delayed. And then now it looks like February 2024. I mean, who really knows? Really? I mean, they don't probably either. But with it being delayed that long, I mean, if there was that much polish that still needed to happen,
I think they're getting ready to rehaul.
I feel like that backlash had to have hit them harder than they're letting on. So I don't know how much more of that you could do without some sort of huge overhaul, because I've been listening to other developers talk about it and, Twitter, watching them on YouTube and things like that. It seems like you would have to really dive in and rewrite a lot of code if they were going to try to take out this live games as a service model that they haven't admitted to, but that it totally was.
Sure.
With their battle passes or whatever they're calling them, game passes. But it just says there the studio will be focusing on ironing out bugs and improving elements that they feel weren't quite up to scratch, according to Bloomberg. So I don't know. They're saying it's more polish. Did it look bad to you?
No,
it didn't.
It really didn't. It was just the extra bullshit.
Crap you were putting in.
Yeah. As soon as that vibe hit, you were just like, oh, man, come on.
Yeah.
But no, the game looked great, and it always has in everything that we've seen. It's just that one element.
That one little teeny tiny, like, let's screw you over on it. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's multiplayer. You have to be online and stuff, but it's still just, I don't know. It seems like a really, whatever. They're going back to the doing some more polish. I don't know. I guess we'll see when it actually releases if all of that stuff is still in there, and that they did in fact go back and work out some bugs. I mean, editors would leave that out, right, in showcases if there was some major bug or something like that. So who knows? You know, obviously when you're making a commercial or showing it off, you want to put the best foot forward for that. So yeah, who knows? Yeah. So we'll see if and when it comes out. I'm sure it will at some point. I mean, Dead Island 2 finally did. Right? Finally. So hell froze over. There's hope, which I kind of forgot about altogether. So then when it did release, I was like, oh, that's right. I kind of just forgot about you because I thought it was a meme at this point. But hey, it came out and people are playing it. And apparently it runs well on the deck, I saw too. So if you have the Steam Deck and want to take it on the go, you can. Well, I mean, you have to like do some funny stuff to download it, I guess, unless you bought it off of Steam, you know, depending on how you did it. But anyway, so yeah, there's hope for Suicide Squad. It hasn't been delayed nearly as long. Okay, so there's another update about this Dark and Darker that I find kind of interesting, and I wanted to share with all of you. So we talked about it a little bit last week, that Dark and Darker is the game that the developing team, who did a little split from the publisher Nexon into their own team Iron Mace, and there was the whole lawsuit back and forth. Nexon says they own it. You know, Dark and Darker devs were like, screw you, we pitched the idea, we should get it. But they decided to go ahead and go around here because they promised a play test to people, right? Before the game went into legit early access, and they weren't letting something like no marketplace get in their way for their fans. So they're asking you to go old school with it and torrent it. So if we have some people who don't remember what torrents are, because that could be a thing. We basically used to steal all the things off of each other by sharing files online. Movies, music, games, you name it. Decentralized file sharing, if you will. And you would pull the info from seeds, and depending on how many people were sharing at the time would determine how long it would take for you to get it. Also, remember, kiddos, we had maybe 6 megabits of internet at this time. So when I say it could be days, I'm not lying. It could be days you are downloading this thing, depending on how many people were sharing it online. So they announced they wanted to keep their promise to the fans, and this is about the only way they could. So I'll just say this. If you're doing it, please, 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 please only take the download link from Iron Mace itself. Please, 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 please. You don't want to be downloading some other garbage onto your computer that you don't know about. So only go to the source if you want to do this. I mean, they're telling you to steal it. They're basically like, this is the only way we can get it to you because of the legal drama and it being pulled. So yeah, just don't download from an untrusted source. Yeah. I just think it's so funny. Like, what year am I in making this process? Like with seeds, like share the seeds, people. Like we're going to hear that again. Stay online if you're doing it, you know? It's been 20 years since I've heard that argument. It's funny. Right. Yeah. Like from, what was it? BitTorrent, LimeWire. Which one did Metallica take down? Napster. Yeah. So yeah, I guess you could go download it for free. Again, please, please, please go to the source if you're going to do that, and then stay online, help other people out, seed the game, figure out what it was like to be on the internet 22 years ago. Okay. Right. Go back in time. Well, you know, though, I feel like I am in a time capsule. Side note again, Magnum PI coming back. George Lopez coming back. Quantum Leap has come back. What else? I was looking at NBC and I just looked at my hubs and I go, what year is it?
Yeah, Night Court. That was another one.
Night Court? Oh, yeah, I think that was the one that set it all off. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at their lineup and how many, and I'm just like, I don't know what year it is. Is it 90s? Is it 80s again? All these shows, all of them are reboots. All of them. Anyway, I just found that interesting as I was flipping through NBC, where I'm like, you're rehashing all of your old shows. Okay.
They are.
Anyway.
But to be fair, some of them are pretty good.
I mean, I've only been watching Quantum Leap. I haven't bothered with the other one.
What did you think of that finale? I'm sorry.
I actually have to catch up. The last one I saw was their the one where they were talking about the trans woman in basketball. So that was the last one I'd seen. So I have to still go back and catch up. Since I can't find the NBC app for PlayStation, I have to watch it online because I'm not going to buy Peacock for a show that's free. Sorry. Because this is the only one on NBC that I watch. But yeah, I just found that interesting because when I saw the George Lopez one show up on a commercial, I'm like, wait a minute, like he was definitely then. And so, I mean, shoot, even Jared Padalecki did what with the Chuck Norris show that was redone?
Walker. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Walker, Texas Ranger. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, moving on. I'm just saying it's funny that all things old are new again.
Well, if at least in the sense of Quantum Leap, I appreciate that for being a continuation.
Right,
not
in the same
a
universe,
straight reboot. Same with Night Court. It's a continuation. You're not saying, hey, we're completely scrapping everything and just rebooting the whole thing.
And what's his name is coming back, and I'm wondering, because like he's the only through-line actor, right, that's still alive, John.
John Larroquette.
Yeah.
Marsha Warfield and Richard Mall are still alive,
okay.
but
yeah.
Mac and Christine and Harry.
I wonder if they changed him because, dude, they are going to get canceled if he's the same as he was back in the day, because he was a garbage human when it came to hitting on women and all that kind of stuff. It would not fly today. Didn't age well.
They changed Dan. He's mellowed. In fact, I think the reason they kind of, or at least how they explained it, is he had been married, like he found the love of his life, and
chilled him out.
She recently passed. And she kind of, brought him down to earth and kind of leveled him out. So he's not that Dan, but there are still elements of the old Dan in him. Like this past episode.
Is it already out?
Yeah, no, it's been out for a while. But he's, I'm trying to remember. It was some secret club of, super.
Sex addicts or something?
No, like. God, I can't even think of what they were. It's lawyers or something like that, like shady practice lawyers and stuff like that. And it was a men's only club, if that tells you.
Of course, yeah.
So he was kind of part of this. So that was kind of that old Dan, and you kind of saw him kind of manipulate in certain situations. But the sexism, absolutely gone. But there's still elements or remnants of the old Dan in there.
Gotcha. Because I was like, that was the first question I had. I was like, oof, how are they going to use his character these days? Anyway, back to games. Yeah. Sorry. just a thing. I love modders. I know I've talked about this a lot. I think they're amazing, and sometimes just bump that notch up for your single player games that are just so much more fun. And I'm just in awe of what they can do just to make our experiences better, most of the time for free. Come on. So if you were playing... Nope. Don't open that. If you were playing Resident Evil 4, right? And you were like, you know what? I need this to be Mario from Mario Brothers, chainsawing these heads and shooting monsters. Well, I've got a mod for you. Head on over to Nexus Mods, and the user is Supreme Leader. And it's the first mod up, simply titled Super Mario Brothers, which turns Leon and Ashley into Mario and Luigi. The heads are so cartoonishly large that you can't see a thing, which is also kind of hilarious. Like, it's just their heads just in your way. So there's another element of scare for you, because you can't see around their freaking heads to see if any monsters were coming at you. And there's another one that'll let you swap out Ashley for Peach. So if you wanted to, have the princess with you in a cat suit for whatever reason. So cat suit Peach. I don't know if I understand the roots on that one. Maybe
have
you
no
can
idea.
tell me. Oh, okay. So just for fun, they put her in a cat suit, it sounds like.
there is a cat suit upgrade in one of the games. I think it's a Mario 3D Land, but why that specific suit is being used in the game.
No idea. Probably because it looks funny. I don't know. Sure. I feel like putting her in there with that ridiculously large gown, too, would have been also funny. But anyway. And you could also pair it with the mod that replaces the enemies with Bowser and just have a really good time, guys.
I got to look this up.
Yeah, you got it. It's on Nexus Mods. Supreme Leader. Then there's the Luigi mod, which swaps Luigi with Luis in Mercenaries mode. So if you wanted to do that, there's some other really fun ones over there. So if you're on PC, Resident Evil 4, go over there and just have some fun. Like, it's just, I love watching these being done because it's just hilarious.
Why is he so big?
I don't know. I think that's supposed to be part of how funny it is because they literally are taking up most of the screen.
He looks like a Disney World mascot or something.
I'm waiting for Nintendo to find out and like mark it somehow or whatever. I don't know. But I don't know. I just love adding tomfoolery mods because it's just hilarious.
Yeah, it's insane.
You know? I did it to RE2 a couple times, the remake, just because it was hilarious to see like him chasing me in a thong. You know, like it was just funny stuff that you would just add in there. Like, doesn't screw with the gameplay or anything, but it just gives me a chuckle in my single player experience. So I always recommend them because they're fun. Ark walked back their bundle, it seems. Were you reading about this silly tomfoolery bundle that they were putting together where the DLC was free, but only if you bought like the new game for $50? So BS. I mean, this seems like a really good call to walk back on this. Originally, you were going to get the Ark Survival Respawn bundle for $50 for up to 1 year, which I wasn't sure what that was about either. Like, is it? I know it's MMO-ish. I've never really played it. And then when I saw what's his name, Vin Diesel, I was like, you actually made me want it less. I know. I do not like that man. But they offered, so this was on Xbox, by the way. So I don't see any release plans for PlayStation, or at least with these bundles. But they offered those players for PlayStation $40 Ark Survival Ascended standalone game with options to buy the DLC, which there's 2, by the way. So you got 2 $20 DLCs on top of that. So $80 for PlayStation. What? People, it sounds like... because they're having to parse it out. So it was a situation where they were like offering Ark Survival Evolved for free with the purchase of Ark 2 at $50. So not free. And it was the upgraded version to my understanding as well. So Ark got rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5. So it was going to be prettier and all this kind of stuff. So you might imagine fans weren't happy. You know, they're not too happy when they saw that announcement. And now the team has walked it back entirely. They're scrapping all of the original bundles. Now they'll just release Ark Survival Ascended as the standalone package and will contain several DLC upgrades at launch for $60. But it was $50. So now I'm confused again. But whatever. It's $60 for it all. And I'm guessing you can just still get the upgrade thing for free. But I remember reading that bundle a few weeks back and like, this doesn't make sense to me. And I kept rereading them going, I'm missing something. Like, I thought I was the idiot. I'm like, I'm missing something here. I'm not understanding something. Nope. It wasn't me.
It's just garbage. Garbageness. In fact, I don't know if you saw this on Discord, but Eric said that he actually knew the guy, like one of the original creators of the game. Yeah.
Did I miss a note? I might have.
Well,
I try to flip through, and sometimes I forget where I found in which room. So I'll sit there and go, siblings banter, game news, roulette. Where did I just see the thing? You know, and I lose stuff all the time. I don't know how. It's one Discord. Anyway. No, I did it. So I had to have missed that.
So, I mean, to my understanding, he was kind of implying that I don't think this was his. Of course, it could be. I don't know. But I don't think he's responsible for pricing. All this. But he might be. I don't know. I think he was just sharing a story.
Yeah. If he's a developer, he probably has zero at all to do with, marketing, prices, things of that nature. That would be their publisher's deal. So yeah, I guess if you were excited for that, at least now it's down to a $60 with 2 DLC thing instead of $80. I don't know. However they parsed it out. It's so confusing now. I don't even know if I could repeat how they had it all bundled and set up. So there you go. There you go. If you were excited, and now it seems like it's at least a normal today's day and age price. Let me flip. Let me see here. Yeah. Oh, you were talking about this a little bit. Angry Birds, Sega buying Rovio Entertainment. $1 billion? Is money even real anymore?
Yeah.
What? $1 billion?
I mean, to be fair, now granted, it seems like a lot for the creator of Angry Birds, but do remember the game was a big smash success for a long time.
Like 10, 15 years ago, though?
Spawn movies, Spawn cartoons.
Maybe you're right.
It could be a big multimedia. Now, granted, today I don't feel like it has that. I can't remember the last time I've thought about Angry Birds.
Not at all.
But
I didn't get really swept up in the craze then either. I remember playing it a couple times, but that was it. I couldn't even tell you which version I played.
Mm-hmm. I know I played a few different versions, but I never paid for it. It was always the freemium versions or whatever they call them.
But they were more well known for buying it up front and then having the game.
Yeah.
I believe, at least. And it does seem like this one, like if they take it and everything, that it'll kind of go back to that pay as you go kind of thing. I don't know. It's just kind of shocking to me. It just seems like a large price tag for something that may actually be done by the end of this week, according to the timeline. If they, if it goes through with it, Sega Sammy Holdings, which is their, I guess, head honchos that cuts the checks, would want to spend so much on Rovio, giving the decline in popularity is what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel like I've heard about it at all lately. Okay, I was wrong. Off my memory, I'm reading my notes here. 2009. So. Okay. Yeah, and then 2014. So that's where like its biggest heyday was in between those years.
It goes back to Community. That's the same years they aired.
Oh, so maybe they had something to do with it.
Maybe, I don't know. We willed it back into existence. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But it seemed like during that time they also were like falling in profits and doing layoffs as well, which is probably why they made more money.
I mean, look,
like when they need to make money, they just fire people.
Sure. Now, to be fair. If you've never played it, I will say with absolute confidence, I thought it was a fun game. It's a great concept, okay? Mm-hmm. I can understand why it's fallen by the wayside, because at some point you put out 100,000 different versions of the same game. People are like...
Yeah, you did. And movies, yeah?
Yeah.
Or
there was at least two that I remember. Yeah. And were they good?
What was the plot?
Well, from what I can remember, it was like Jason Sudeikis played the main bird.
Oh, I like
Red.
Him, though.
Yeah, and I think he was like the only bird on the island or wherever they lived that was just angry about everything, and it was just,
he was the angry bird.
He was the angry bird, and
Got it.
he just people were like, you're negative, and then suddenly the pigs arrive. And then the only way to defeat the pigs is through the anger.
Right.
It's something to that effect. It shows that I didn't really pay attention.
I was going to say, I didn't know that there was a plot to the game. So that's why I was always wondering when I saw that. I'm like, what would you even have as a plot? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're clinging to the old days here and the hoorah of its first success. It was the first game to reach 1 billion downloads for mobile and is still the Guinness World Record holder for it. So there you go. It comes with that title. 1 billion downloads is a lot, especially for then,
Sure. Again, fun game. Great game. Mm-hmm. But what is Sega going to do with it?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they've got their own set of heroes that they want to make angry. I mean, they are already trying to kill off Sonic in free games,
You know what? I just thought about that. Think about that.
Angry Sonic game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Think about it. Because Sonic could be your character that you throw off.
Yeah, which would make more sense considering his roots.
And then he'd just be a little twirling ball. Mm-hmm. And then you could do a zip, zap, zoop with something. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. They probably already did the same thing.
They might. Yeah. Well, we'll see. If it goes through, I guess time will tell what they plan on doing with that brand. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more in Rovio's category here that's probably enticing as well. Angry Birds is just the biggest thing that, comes to mind for all of us. So we'll see what happens if they take it over. And then this one was kind of sad to me. I don't know if people were still our siblings anyway that were still using it. If you remember Dreams on Sony PlayStation. Unfortunately, the support for that game is coming to an end. This fall, September to be exact, Media Molecule is the dev team that is owned by Sony, rather, behind Dreams, which I'm sure all of you might remember. I remember when it was pretty big 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say, and people still play with it. You could create basically your own video games if you wanted, your own worlds. You could share them, and the live support will be ending, but you can still play it with what will be in the game at that point. Like that's just where it'll be. No more new updates will be coming. Because they want to shift their focus to something new. So that's exciting to me, right? Like they want to do other things. I get it. After a while, you probably want to stretch, go out, do something maybe a little bit more challenging or just something new. Apparently, you'll still be able to buy it. And you could still create, you could still play. But the promised multiplayer, I guess, is not going to happen, obviously. If they're going to be wrapping it up here soon and they still haven't added it, I wouldn't count on it getting added at all. And they are going to migrate it over to a new server May this year. And you'll get 5 gig storage limit for the new creations, which doesn't seem that large by today's standards, but I don't know how big these things save as. And then all of the creations they're saying, if you've made prior to this, will not count towards your save limit. Like, so if it's already been done before the server migration, that's that. Moving forward, you'll only get 5 gigs to be able to upload and share or keep or whatever. So, yeah, it was just kind of sad because it's coming to an end, but moving on to something new with how creative they were with this and giving those kind of tools to players. I'm really excited for what they might be doing next.
I think I'm looking forward to whatever they're doing next because obviously Little Big Planet is such a huge success for them, and it was a fun game. My favorite was Tearaway, where you actually got to interact. It was like originally it was on the Vita, and you could tap on the back end, and the camera would actually show your face. Like
fun. You
were interacting with the character inside. So that level of interactivity, the way they did it, was just so unique. Fun. I felt like it was so much better on the Vita, even though it was still fun when they transferred it to console. It was just the interactive experience you got on the Vita, which was so creative that I love so much. So they can do anything, and Dreams was just not something that I gravitated towards. I'm not
a creator for that. I want to play.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can say all day, I'm a creative person. I can agree with that. But when it comes to that, I might have an idea for a game, but I wouldn't even know where to begin. And I'm not trying to say anything negative. I guess I've never saw any games come out of Dreams that were just like, oh my God, you have to play this. And some of the tools just, I don't know, they didn't sit with me like what I wanted if I wanted to create something. So
just didn't hit as well.
Yeah. So it wasn't a game for me. But anything that they've done creatively on another level, I've been all for because they are very clever. They are very creative.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want something new.
We'll see. So they say they're moving on to a new exciting project, and from stuff we've seen from them before, I'm sure it is. So we'll just have to wait and see what that is. I'm sure we're going to hear about it way far down the line from now, unless they've been secretly working on it behind the scenes for years. I don't know. I don't know how big their team is. I mean, they got Sony money, though, so I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. All of their other stuff, as Stephen was saying, it's been very creative and fun and interesting and clever. So yeah, let's see what's going on. I have a 3 little quick hits. Okay. And then, whatever I missed from Steven or whatever he's going into. I don't know. I like to be surprised just like the rest of y'all. Did want to mention Super Mario Brothers movie cleared 500 million worldwide. Reportedly pushed it into the highest grossing video game movie ever for opening weekend.
Yeah.
Even beat out Frozen 2.
And there were like 2 movies that came out this week. What was it? Renfield came out this week.
Yeah, I'm going to see that.
Still mopped the floor at the box office. So it wasn't slowing down.
Well, were you expecting Renfield to be this big?
No, not necessarily. But, normally...
It looked fun, but it's Nick Cage. It goes either way.
Normally when you see like a new movie come out, you see a slight decline from the movie last week,
sure,
and then that'll be the big thing, even if it's even. But I mean, no, it was just like, no, Super Mario's taking in another 72 million this weekend, and then Renfield didn't even clear, like, barely over 20, I think.
Well, hopefully it's still in the theater then, I guess, this weekend coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
yeah, we're supposed
I don't know. I'm not trying to disparage anything. I mean, I heard good things about it, so.
And I mean, the film ended with the teaser for potential future sequels or whatever. So, yeah, maybe the was first of several that we're going to see, and it did well. I wasn't sure, you know?
All I'm hoping is that we get more character development next time. I've come
or any development, really, if we think about it. Like,
I mean, I'm coming to grips with the idea that we're setting everything up with that film. You know what I mean? Because I talked to a lot of people last week asking, you know, when the question got asked to me, what did you think about it? And I went, and people were like, what? Like, expecting that I was just going to be loving it.
Like,
and I said, hear me out. I don't hate it.
Right.
I just feel like it had potential to do a little bit more, have a little bit more substance, and I felt like they missed a mark. Now, do I think that would have been the smartest thing? I don't know. Because even as I think about it, like, what little bits they could throw in there, is that going to make a big difference? Is that going to make such an impact?
Well, for me, I think it would have been this, like, paring down on all of the stuff a little bit and then fleshing it out in sequels and stuff. Because for me, it just seemed like you were trying to overwhelm me with all of the Mario Brothers references you could possibly fit into an hour and a half out of, like, all of the games that you've created with his name in it. And so it just felt like a little much. Cute, and I'm sure I missed a ton, too. Because I even remembered hearing you and Eric talk about stuff that you noticed in the background of things that I missed because I noticed something else, you know, so it was a lot for whatever reason. They put them all in there. But yeah, GG. Biggest opening weekend for a video game animation ever. So there you go. PlayStation Direct kind of this week. We had a state of play for Final Fantasy 16. So if some reason you're a fan and missed that, you can go on over to, you know, PlayStation YouTube and check it out. 26 minutes worth of new stuff. I don't play them. I know you do. Are you interested in continuing on with this new versions?
Well, the newer entries are ones that I haven't really gravitated towards. And
they're much different.
I don't know if I would like them. I guess I would have to have someone tell me something more about them, because when I look at them, I'm just like...
kind of like an open world.
Like, I'm
fantasy.
Kind of interested in some ways when I look at them, and then there's just some element of, like, I enjoy the older ones. I don't know what it is about the newer ones that it's kind of disassociating me from it. Because even like when they did the remake of 7, I feel like it was familiar that I was like, yeah, I'd like to revisit that in a different way. So, and that's why I did. But would I be interested in these new games if you say, okay, well, it's a lot like 7 in the way they present it now? You know, you can go over to 16 and think about that, but new characters. It's like, yeah, but gameplay-wise, sure, I liked it, but I don't know the characters, and it's new, and so that was an entryway. You know? So someone's going to have to sell me on it.
Yeah.
Because... what was there was one of them, was it 12 or 14, that was like a big MMO RPG, and I avoided that like the plague.
One that was basically open world looking ish. Like, you actually ran around with the character, got into fights in real time. It wasn't, you know, the back and forth. If I'm understanding, that's how it was in Final Fantasy, right? Turn-based. Yeah. So, and I only remember that because when I first started streaming was when that game came out. So I knew a lot of people who were playing it. So I watched a good chunk of it. So yeah, it plays a lot different than the other one. So I could understand, like, you know, for me, like, I like the JRPGs, not necessarily just all RPGs, but I like the style and the way that they do that sort of thing. So I could understand, like, I liked this style. This one isn't grabbing me, which is weird. I thought you might like it, though, because you do tend to like open worldy, more explory. I don't know how free roam it is, honestly.
Sure.
But
And I might. I just, for some reason, I've just not gravitated toward those newer entries, and I can't really explain why. There's just something about them. It's not grabbing my attention.
Yeah.
But
it is what it is.
I mean, if I actually gave it a shot, I might actually just be like, oh my God, why have I not played this? But
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's not like we're lack of things to play, I guess. So,
No.
but then looks like also I just wanted to throw this out here that on April 20th, PlayStation will be streaming a showcase for Street Fighter 6, if that was something you were interested in seeing more of. So that'll be coming up here on, let me see what day of the week that is. Thursday.
It is
Happy
Thursday.
420.
Do you know why? Do you know why I know
what?
this? You want to know why I know that it's Thursday? I'm gonna do a little shout out to someone. My eldest daughter's getting married that day.
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yep.
On Hitler's birthday.
On Hitler's birthday. Something
Sorry,
she probably
I don't know
didn't
why
know.
I felt like throwing that out there, but yeah.
Yeah, the 420 element I should have caught initially, but for some reason I was just like, it is odd that they're getting married on a Thursday. But I thought, hey, it's your weddings, whatever you want to do.
Waited till next year. Would have landed on a Friday or whatever, But I mean, I'm sure you save a frick ton of money doing it on a Thursday, because who does weddings on a Thursday?
Exactly.
Like, I knew people who got married in December for that very reason. It's such an off season. They're like, halls were cheaper and all this. Yeah, it sucked to move around, but when you could save like 20 grand, why not? Right.
Right.
Excellent. So that's coming up with PlayStation. And the last thing I wanted to mention, and it was the one that I showed you last night, because I think we have siblings that will enjoy this. A new indie game coming out, El Paso Elsewhere. And I wanted to bring this up as it looks like a really interesting indie game, like Max Payne style mechanics, but you're shooting monsters and stuff. There's slow-mo sliding, dodging. I could see some of the siblings really enjoying this one. You're fighting vampires and werewolves and escaping evil puppets.
Yeah,
I know the scene that I showed you was just in the bathroom, or that I showed you, that I sent over to you. So they had like the whole bathroom thing. But even the little quips and little one-liners that the character would say would kind of remind me of that also. I don't know. Max Payne, maybe a little Control vibes. I don't know. It's just, yeah. You said, I was so happy when you were like, is this real? Because I want it. And I'm like, yes, it's real. But Xbox and Steam, I did not see a PC. Or I'm sorry, PlayStation. Yeah. I saw Xbox and PC. Yeah. So I don't know if it will soon, eventually, but yeah.
Things migrate over eventually, but not all things. So if I really want to play it, it just depends on how bad.
Yeah.
But it did. It looked really cool, and I was like, holy shit, I kind of want to play this right now.
Yeah. It still just says coming soon. So I don't know its exact release date. But yeah, shout out to Strange Scaffold, which is the dev and the publisher. So they're doing it all on their own. So GG. I just think, go check it out. El Paso Elsewhere. I think we have siblings that would really freaking dig it. And that's it. That's all I got. That's all I wanted to chat with you about this week. What you think?
Well, as I said earlier, I was a little busy this week. Yes. I had no time to really put anything together, so we're gonna play a little game.
Yay! I like games.
Okay, and considering this is coming right off the back of the Mario movie, I'm gonna challenge you to an old school Super Mario quiz.
Oh, fine, because I'm probably gonna only be like 50-50 on this, but old school maybe. Maybe. Let's see what I remember.
Because this is as good as I can do. Hopefully the siblings will just play along, have fun with it, and do whatever. Because I'm sorry, I had no time to put anything together.
Things happen.
By the time it was Friday, I was in I don't know.
Cranky dude? It happens.
I just had a bad day Friday. It was just like, and I didn't feel like doing anything. And I even thought about it, and I was like, I don't even know what I want to do right now. So I
hate those moods where it's like something, but I don't know what, and you're just stuck in that zone. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna play a quiz. So,
all right.
To my knowledge, all of these questions will be multiple choice, so you'll have plenty of options, and hopefully I won't have to show you a picture. Because, that'll just complicate matters.
Site, yeah. And then we'd have to put all the stuff up on YouTube again. But
so
they liked the home play.
They did. But this time I want to be able to just ask you a question and then give you options, and then you just be like, oh, yeah.
That is ideal. Yeah.
Okay. So question number 1. Here we go. We're going to start the quiz now. So the first question is, the character Mario first appeared in the legendary game Donkey Kong. When was this game released? Okay. Is it 1981, 1979, 1983, or 1984?
You know what? 1981 popped into my head before you said anything. So I'm just going to try to go with that and see if my gut is correct. 81.
Correct. Donkey Kong was originally released in Japan, summer of 1981. Released in the U.S. later that month, and why can I not say it? Consequently, thank you, in Europe later the same year. So they gave us a little trivia. How about that?
Hey, yeah,
is it good trivia? Is it accurate? Who knows? Sometimes
know.
these people make shit up.
That's true.
All right. Question number 2. Mario has had many professions over the years and worn many costumes. What was his original profession?
Okay.
Was it carpenter, doctor, painter, or plumber?
Well, I feel like plumber would be the easy answer, right? So, because that's what we know him as. So you said original. So I feel like, unless it's a trick question, we need to take plumber off the table. He was only a doctor in Dr. Mario, though, which came out later. And then what was the first one you said? Carpenter?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with carpenter. I was between carpenter and painter. Yeah, it's probably plumber, and I'm going to be pissed.
Correct.
Hey!
Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Super Mario, intended him to be a carpenter in the Donkey Kong game. So look at you. That was good.
2 for 2.
I think that would have
cocky yet.
I think that would have tricked some people.
Yay. See, at least I'm like, I remember old school stuff, maybe enough.
All right. Mario has a very memorable face, including a large hat and a mustache.
Yep.
Why was he designed this way?
Why was he designed that way? With a large hat and a mustache? Probably because on Pixels, like, that's how you could see a face, sort of. I don't know, but go ahead with my choices.
Was it because Mario wears a hat, or Mario wears a hat because he's bald? Characters with mustaches are more popular? Design limitations? Or to make the character more memorable?
Well, see, now I feel like I have to go with design limitations because that's what I was saying beforehand. So let's trust my gut again and see if it's keeping me going.
Correct.
Yay! I was just thinking that
says,
one seems like a face.
Holy crap. Stop. A video just popped up out of nowhere. Anyway, it says, because Mario was designed when there were many technical limitations, the hat was far easier to draw than with hair. So, perfect. You're doing great.
I mean, he might have been bald.
Next question. Mario, I feel like this would be an easy one. Mario was actually a villain in a game released in 1982. What game was it? Is it Poor Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Evil Mario, or Mario v. Kong?
Is Evil Mario too on the nose?
A little bit.
I kind of want to just go with Evil Mario. I actually don't think I know this one. I don't remember him being evil.
Well,
so I'm just going to...
Relative in the sense of being the bad guy in a game that...
He's not normally a bad guy. He's normally the hero.
Yeah, and this would be the one time that you ever saw him in this light. And even that is kind of like...
Well, then, what was the last one? Mario versus Donkey Kong?
Uh-huh.
Let's go with that one then, because maybe they were arguing over Peach, and so he got like a little bit more evil and gaslighty to make Donkey Kong go insane. I don't know, so we could keep Peach.
I mean, are you sure?
Are you sure? Way to go. No, I'm not at all. I was gonna say Evil Mario, but I feel like my explanation with the last one is more fun, so I'm gonna go with it.
I mean, I feel like you overlooked the most obvious answer because it was the only one that was an actual game, which was Donkey Kong Jr.
Oh, I didn't know if they weren't all. You know how many spin-offs Mario and them have had? For
this
all
is true.
I knew it was true. Like on a handheld. I've missed all handheld games because I only had the first one, Game Boy, and that was it.
Well, and fun little fact, just so you have, they at least give you a trivia, even if you got it wrong.
Okay.
It says Mario's appearance noticeably changes in some ads for Donkey Kong Jr., donning a curled mustache. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I do remember that, I think. Yeah.
So, it makes him look more sinister.
Of course. All the evil villains back in the day would twist their mustachio, right? That was part of the joke.
Mm-hmm. All right, next question. Another villain teamed up with Mario in Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Oof. Which villain was it? Now, I don't know if you've ever played this game. Mm-mm. I find it to be a delight. I love this game, and I really want to play it again. It might be on the Switch. Hey, no, none of that. See, these advertisements.
Well, they just want to get you.
It's sitting right here, and all I did was roll the mouse over it, and it was like, we're going to expand and fill up your screen. It's like, no, I don't
the only
care.
way they could make you see them now.
Okay, anyway, villain that appeared and teamed up with Mario in this game. Was it King Boo, Bowser, Wario, or Bob-omb?
I want to say Wario. So let's go with Wario.
Answer is Bowser.
Damn.
Bowser appears alongside...
Falling apart in the end.
Yep. Bowser appears alongside Mario after his army abandoned him out of fear of the Smithy Gang. Yeah, he turned out to be an interesting ally. Let's just say that.
All right. Yeah, so I'm losing on the ones I never played here.
It's okay. Luigi is an integral part of Mario's history. In what game was he first introduced? Was it Donkey Kong, Super Mario Brothers, Mario's Cement Factory, or Mario Bombs Away?
Oh, shoot. None of them were the one I thought. I was hoping you would just say another one that was in my head. I'm sorry. Let's do all four one more time.
Okay, Donkey Kong, Super Mario Brothers, Mario's Cement Factory, or Mario Bombs Away.
Let's say Mario Brothers, because he was a playable, I think, in the first one. I'm trying to remember if he had to beat it first or whatever. So yeah, I don't remember him in Donkey Kong at all. Well,
see, now I feel like this was incorrect. You got it right.
Okay,
but
so for the original Mario.
This is where I say their answer is incorrect. So they said Super Mario Brothers was the correct answer, but that is not the correct answer. At least from my history that I know, because Mario Brothers came out before Super Mario Brothers, and he was introduced there. But I feel like there was even another game prior to that in which Luigi was first introduced.
Prior to the original Mario Brothers game?
I could be wrong, but I feel like I heard that trivia here recently. But at least in this instance, Super Mario Brothers is absolutely 100% wrong.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know.
Even Wrecking Crew was a game prior to this, and I don't know. But the hell with it. I think they're confused because they're even saying it introduces Luigi as they explore the sewers of New York. It was just called Mario Brothers. It was not Super Mario Brothers. There's two different games.
Yeah.
So I think they got their... See, and this is why I don't like these quizzes.
Yeah.
They don't get their shit right. They don't do their...
Mario 3 said Super Mario Brothers, right? When we got to there. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm trying to look at my Nintendo cartridge in my head, and it's... Yeah.
Anyway, so here's an interesting question. Maybe I don't know the answer to this one, or at least I'm not 100% sure. Bowser was initially intended to be another animal before he was changed to a turtle. What animal? Was he an armadillo, a dragon, an ox, or a dinosaur?
Ooh.
Now, I feel like two of those answers are vague.
Vague?
Yeah.
Well, like dragon or dinosaur is feels like that would translate easily into turtle at some point, I just can't envision it being one of the other ones. I'm gonna say dinosaur because then they probably reused it for Yoshi later on because they were like, well, we didn't do it here, so we're going to use it there because turtles look more badass with a hard shell.
Okay.
And they could put spikes on it.
Okay, so funny enough, the answer is ox. And
Really?
I was going to say, looking at the original 8-bit design, I think I can see it.
Okay.
Because it says the original design of Bowser by Miyamoto as an ox was mistaken as a turtle by animator Yoichi Kotabe, and the concept of him as a turtle was then developed from there.
Oh, so it was a complete misunderstanding.
Yeah. Now, if you look at him like right in the horn area, you can kind of get a sense of an ox. So I think I think I can see what they were talking about. Okay. Interesting.
I had no clue about that. Nope.
Again, I was thinking dinosaur or dragon, and dragon, that's not an animal. That's a fictional thing.
Well, I mean, I guess I should have said dragon because didn't he blow fire?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
Here's a fun one, and I'm going to teach you a little Japanese.
Ooh, that I'll never remember, but I adore you for trying.
I think you could do the association here.
Okay.
Possibly. Maybe. Wario is essentially the bad version of Mario. His name is a combination of Mario and the Japanese word for warui.
What is that?
Well, that's the question. What does warui mean?
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Is it immoral, cruel, foul, or evil?
Ooh, no idea. But what year was Wario?
He dropped somewhere. I think it was.
Can I get a lifeline? What year was Wario?
1990.
So it was 90s-ish.
I feel like that's because it was Super Mario Land 2 where he premiered, and that was a Game Boy game, and I'm almost positive it was early 90s.
I don't know why I thought knowing what era would provide me a better idea of what word they would have used for it.
I have no idea.
But
92. Haha.
92. So it was evil, foul, not nice. I don't remember.
All right. It was immoral, cruel, foul, or evil.
Let's say evil, although I don't know. Part of me wants to go with the first one, immoral, because it just seems like a more thing that they would say about another human. You know what? Immoral. Let's do that. I'm probably wrong. I'm going to keep talking myself out of it. So let's just go with A.
I mean, you should have stuck.
I'll keep doing. Was evil? It was evil. Yeah.
Should have stuck where you got. Because, Now, granted, I didn't learn it as evil. I just learned it as bad. So, Warui is bad, so bad Mario. So, they... You know how English translators like to stretch things.
Well, our language is dumb.
I know.
The fact that we had to ask, was it live alive, live alive, live alive? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's not obvious.
Live alive is what
we know now.
Davis said now. So we're clarifying to everybody else.
It, like, I don't know. Because our language is dumb. Did you read it or read it? I don't know.
Who knows? Go ahead. Super Mario Brothers was released on the NES in 1985. Before this, it was released in Japan on another console called what? Was it the Family Computer, the Fest Computer, the Fun Computer, or the Fab Computer?
Oh my gosh.
Because they gave you a lot of options.
Yeah. Let's just say fun. I feel like that's all they've ever wanted to bring people is fun and creativity. So let's just say fun.
The Fun Computer.
Fun Computer.
Incorrect. It was the Family Computer or the Famicom.
I should have known. Everything for them was like bring everyone together and play this stuff together. Damn it. I'm silly. Okay.
It's okay. Next question. In the Super Mario universe, Mario and his friends live within a certain world. What is the name of this world?
Brooklyn. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, I'm gonna see if you can figure this. The world in which where do they go in the movie? From Brooklyn to
like the Mushroom Kingdom.
There you go.
Or I'm trying to remember the other one now.
No, that's it. Yep, that's what you need.
Okay, I was trying to remember where Luigi got sent.
Because
Badlands, right? Was something as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean the other options were just insulting, to be honest, because it was Pipe World, Mario World, or Brothers World. The hell is that? You didn't even try.
You didn't even say then the one Mushroom Kingdom, so you had World, Kingdom.
Yeah. Idiots. Anyway, Koji Kondo, who, hey, we didn't even talk about that. He was, or at least the Super Mario Brothers theme was inducted in the National Registry.
See that. Yes.
Yeah, so
and well
congrats.
done. It deserves it. Like, obviously, when you hear it, what comes to mind?
Certainly. So, anyway, Koji Kondo composed the incredibly popular and recognizable theme tune for Super Mario Brothers. What is the name of said theme?
Oh, okay.
Is it Cloud Theme, Mushroom Theme, Mountain Theme, or Ground Theme?
I'm just going to go with Mushroom Theme since everything seems to be mushrooms or pipes or...
It would be Ground Theme.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Why, though?
I guess because it's since you're on the ground level and you're not underground like the underworld, underground.
I just figured maybe you'd say menu or something. And I'd be like, okay. The menu screen.
The menu
no, I know it's
theme.
the first level.
Is there a menu theme? There's not. I don't know. All right. So we're getting a quiz on a quiz. A Q-score survey in the early 1990s, which you should know, revealed that for American kids, Mario was more recognizable than what other pop culture figure?
Okay, I wonder if it's the one in my head. Let's see.
Is it, and this is a good one. I think this is one of the better questions because I'm not even sure. Is it Bart Simpson, Superman, Barney, or Mickey Mouse?
See, I was going to say Mickey Mouse, even though that does seem silly, right? Because it's been around way longer.
But,
you know what? That was the first thing that popped into my head. I'm going to go with it. Mickey Mouse.
And you are correct.
Yeah, all right.
The survey found that Mario had grown so popular he was more identifiable than Disney's most famous icon. Which, have you heard about Mickey while we're on that subject?
Going into public domain, but like the old one, right?
The OG version.
How does that happen? How do you just lose the rights to something you created? I don't know that I totally get that.
I have no idea.
Like, how do you get put on just 100-year limit on something? Like, that's where I'm having trouble.
Yeah.
If you created it, why would you ever lose the rights to it? I don't understand things.
Dava, explain it to us, please.
Right. Like, why would you lose rights to anything you had the rights to that you created? I don't get it.
I understand we have the internet, but we don't have time where we're in the middle of a quiz, so please.
Yeah, true. Look at it later.
The huge chain chomp. Do you know the chain chomp from, It looks like a big, and just barks. The huge chain chomp enemies were inspired by what?
Oh, Venus flytrap. I don't know.
A wrecking ball, a dog on a chain, a snooker ball. I have no idea what that is.
I feel like I do.
Or a shot put.
I mean, shot put is round, but that's about it. Like, I'm not seeing that. I feel like it would have to be one of the first two, like a dog on a chain, or what was the first one?
A wrecking ball.
A wrecking ball.
I mean, it feels like a combination of the two, but
it does, yeah. Okay, let's say wrecking ball, because ball, chain. I know dog chain too, but like, I don't know.
We should have went with number 2 because it was the dog on a chain.
It was? All right, damn.
And apparently Miyamoto was chased as a child by a dog
Haven't we all?
Being held by its chain, or before it got held back by its chain, so it kind of terrified him. And
mine was not held back by a chain, and I was on roller skates, and my God, did I try to go fast enough, and I didn't make it. I got bit anyway.
Yeah, I had a dog. I feel like it was this finger, one of these fingers. I don't know. I guess it smelled my fear and just grabbed my finger and dragged me around on my finger.
Oh no!
Yeah. It was ages ago. I don't even remember.
Untrained dogs.
Anyway, what's this? Okay, next question. This is another good one, at least I think so, because it's vague. It's interesting. So a Nurakabe is a Japanese spirit, which means plaster wall. They are said to hinder your journey. Which Mario enemy is inspired by this spirit? Is it... That is not what I expected. Okay. Is it a Lakitu, a Goomba, a Whomp, or a Blooper?
Not what came to mind.
Exactly.
Okay.
Me either.
What's a blooper?
A blooper is one of those jellyfish or the squids up under the squids, not jellyfish.
Because obviously the ghost was what popped in my head. Boo.
Me too.
Or whatever, because when you faced it, it would stop or chase. Yeah. Okay. So.
Even looking at this picture of a Nurakabe, just does not.
What? Okay. What was the second one?
A Goomba. A Lakitu, that's the one up in the clouds that drops the spinies. A Goomba, you know what a Goomba is. It's just the little mushroom. And a Whomp is, I think they mean a Thwomp. A Thwomp is the big, I don't really know what you'd call it. It's the thing that falls from the ceiling and tries to smash you with the big angry face.
Yeah, that looks kind of like a tiki thing or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I don't think it's that. I'm gonna say I don't think it's Goomba either. What was the other? The thingy
Lakitu, Goomba, Thwomp, Blooper.
Let's say Lakitu, spirit, clouds. Sure, maybe it's just that on the nose.
It was a Whomp, which I still don't think that's right. I don't think it's a Whomp.
Okay.
Or at least I don't think the name is correct. I'm almost positive it's a Thwomp, because that would at least make sense in regards to hinder your journey, because that's what they do. They come down and...
To be fair, all of them hinder your journey.
All right, hang on. I'm looking up a Whomp because No, it is. Okay, so it... All right, so a Whomp is like a Thwomp, but with arms and legs.
Oh, I think I remember this now that I'm staring at it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well.
Okay, fine.
To hell with that. I didn't realize that. Anyway.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Next question. Super Mario Land, released in 1989, introduced a new female character. Which character was it? Was it Toadette, Rosalina, Princess Peach, or Princess Daisy?
Toadalina. I feel like there was a chick version of that.
Well, you got to pick one because you just combined two names.
Oh, did
together.
I?
Toadette or Rosalina?
Oh, Toadette.
Toadalina. That's a whole new character.
Right. I'm going to combine them all.
That we're creating right now. No, it was actually Princess Daisy.
Oh, I thought about it for a second, but I didn't remember another princess, really and truly. So, was it another console game?
No, it was a Game Boy game.
Yeah. Oh, then I just missed me.
It's okay. When was the Super Mario Brothers movie released? The original.
The original live action with John Leguizamo, and why can't I think of dude's name?
Bob Hoskins.
Thank you.
Was it 1987, 2001, 1993, or 1989?
I feel like 93 is correct.
And you are correct.
All right. Yeah.
I won't read the trivia because we all know everything.
I think our listeners are aware of the live action one, and if not, check it out. You might be a treat, or it might be so bad it's good. I don't know. I don't know your life.
So, next question: who has voiced Mario since the 90s? Is it Dan Green, Veronica Taylor, Charles Martinet, or Jeff Nimoy?
I really don't know. Let's go with the Charles one.
That is correct.
Oh, hey! All right.
Charles Martinet is not only the voice of Mario, but Luigi, Wario, and others.
Oh, fun.
So,
nice.
Let's go.
It's me.
This is the dumbest question, but we're going to just do it anyway, I guess. Who is Princess Toadstool? Is it...
a princess who's also a toadstool? No.
Is it Toadette, Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, or Rosalina?
Oh, well, was it Daisy then? I don't know. You were looking at me like, we've already talked about this. The Toadette or whatever. I don't know.
Princess Toadstool?
Yes. I keep saying all the things wrong. Toadette.
You sure?
I don't know.
Because
I forget what you say almost instantly, and it's a problem. I know. I should be writing it down. Because
I can click on this answer, but I feel like you're just going to kick your ass.
Let's do the Daisy one. Let's do Daisy.
You sure about that too?
No, not sure about any of this. I'm not even sure what I'm doing in my life, let alone this quiz. So
okay, well, do remember Princess Toadstool was Princess Peach, and they just called her Princess Toadstool over here for some stupid reason, which I never understood. But she was always Peach in Japan.
Okay, I feel like I always called her Peach too. Maybe I didn't, and I don't remember.
Officially, she never became Peach here until Super Mario 64. Why? I have no idea.
Oh, you know what? Okay. Yeah. All right. But yeah, I already chose it, so I can't go back now.
It's all right. What species is Bowser? I
An
sounded
ox.
like Christopher Walken. What species is Bowser? Is he a Koopa? Is he a Yoshi? Have you ever heard people say Yoshi? It's Yoshi. Is it not?
Yeah, well, maybe it was the female version.
Well,
a Yoshi and a Yoshi. I don't know how to do the walk-in. Sorry. Mine's just going to sound weird.
It's a Yoshi. It's a Yoshi. Who cares?
Right.
It's a Goomba or a Toad.
A Goomba, a Toad, or a Yoshi?
Or a Koopa.
Or a Koopa? I don't know. We just decided he was an ox version thing. So
what is he the king of?
Goombas and Yoshis? I don't know. Yoshi. Oh wait, let's think of the movie. Yoshis were all happy in another world. His would be Goombas, right?
Bowser, king of the
Wild Wild West.
I'm trying so hard to give you hints.
Everybody is probably screaming at their listening device right now and probably just like throwing things. And it kind of brings a smile to my face.
I'm trying to help.
I know you are. You are. The fact that I remember anything through my day is amazing. So I probably hit my limit on how well I'm going to do them.
It's okay. It's okay.
Because I have literally forgotten what we were even talking about.
What is Bowser?
What is Bowser?
Yeah. Is he a Koopa, a Yoshi, a Goomba, or a Toad?
A Toad.
He is a Koopa. He is the king of the Koopas.
King of the Koopas. I'm enjoying this too much.
Okay, so when was Mario 64 released? Was it 1993, 1996, 1990, or 2000?
2000.
1996. Because that's
64?
Super Mario 64. That's when the 64 came out. It was 1996.
Maybe I just got it too late, and that's why I thought it was later.
That's fine.
I rarely got anything day one back then.
Mm-hmm. When was the first Mario Kart game released in North America? Was it 92, 93, 90, or 98?
98? I feel like I didn't really hear about race car ones for a while.
Reel that back in. We just said Super Mario 64 came out in 96.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay, what was the other ones? 80,
92, 90, or 93?
92. So
which
90,
would
92 or 93? 93.
92.
I never played any of them. Damn.
Never played Mario Kart?
No, well, I mean, I've played the newer ones on the Switch with my nieces, but that's like I never owned one and played it myself. No.
Gotcha. What game first featured the poison mushroom? Was it Mario Kart, Super Mario Land, Super Mario Brothers, or Super Mario Brothers 2, meaning the Japanese version of Super Mario Brothers 2?
The one that I despise. Yes, that made no sense to the rest of them, in my opinion. 2? I don't know, actually.
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
Now
like,
keep
I
in
don't know
mind.
that I beat it because I hated it. So
Keep
much.
in mind, I mean Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan, not the one we got. The Japanese version, we call it the Lost Levels over here. So
Okay,
you still got it right.
I thought that was the Japanese version, and then that's the reason why we were all confused, because when it released, we're like, what is this?
No, they, in typical fashion, we were considered too stupid or too,
I mean,
we couldn't handle the difficulty level. Not really.
Oh, okay.
They were just like, yeah, it's still a little too hard. We don't want to put that on people. Let's find a different way to approach this.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the real gamers who like that Dark Souls-esque, you gotta play on hard, man. That's their jam. Anyway,
okay.
what color, because color is awesome here, what color were Mario's overalls originally in Donkey Kong? Blue, red, green, or brown?
Oh my God, I played it and I'm trying to vision it in my head. For some reason, green was in my head, but I feel like he's always had red. So let's just stay with red. I could be confusing it.
That is correct, because they swapped it. Originally, his overalls were red, and then they swapped it to where it's like, oh, now his shirt is red and his overalls are blue, not the other way around. So.
Oh, yes.
That's where the confusion comes in.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to vision it in my head. I'm like, what was he wearing when he was walking up the little ladders? And yeah, I can't remember. Okay,
now this may be a little tricky since you said you haven't played these games, but I don't think it'll be all that hard.
If I can remember Koopa, for Christ's sake.
If you remember,
kind of dumb that I couldn't.
If you remember a detail from the movie, this should be easy.
Okay.
What difficult level is always featured in Mario Kart? Moo Moo Farm, Peach Beach, Luigi Raceway, Rainbow Road.
Well, if you said movie, I remember Rainbow Road in the movie, so let's go with that.
Bingo.
Okay.
All right.
If you hadn't have said movie, I probably would have been like, I don't know,
I was trying to giving you a hint. That's all.
Trying to be nice to me, and I appreciate it.
All right. Fun fact here. Now, they're not getting super detailed, but we're going decade, which I guess is fine. But I'll give you bonus points if you can give me an actual date. When was Nintendo founded?
18 something, I think.
Okay. So, I mean, you've already technically got the answer right if you've said that.
Like 99 or something like that. Like, I know it was well before we all think of it as trading cards or something.
If I give you the decade they give, then couple that with the answer you just gave, and I'll give you those bonus points. The decade is 1880s.
Okay. 89? 1888? 89?
No, you had it. 1889. So bonus points. Look at that.
Hey!
This gets bonus points from me. When was Super Mario World released? Super Mario World was the Super Nintendo version.
Okay.
So was that 1980, 1990, 2000, 2002?
Ooh. I feel like the 2000s was too far of a jump. So 89 or 90 is what you said was the other two?
1980 or 1990? Remember, Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Super Nintendo. I can't remember when that one came out because I know you had the OG one 70s-ish, but then we get it in the 80s, and then I didn't get it till 85, and then trying to do the math. I'm going to say 90. I feel like it just missed the 80s.
Nope, you're right. 90.
Okay.
So always think Nintendo 80s, Super Nintendo 90s.
Okay. And then when did the 64? Because that was 90s also, right?
That was 96. So think closer to the ass end of the 90s. into the 2000s. What is the name of the flower that allows Mario to throw fireballs?
Oh, no.
I wonder. Would it be a burn flower, a heat flower, a fire flower, or flower power?
I like flower power. Fire flower. I can't even say it. It's pretty hard when you give it a...
Flyer flower?
Flyer.
There you go. Fire flower. Correct.
Fire flower.
All right. I don't know how many more questions we got. We're kind of...
Yeah, it was a little longer than we thought, eh?
Yeah, I thought...
we kept talking too much in between them all, which also is probably contributing.
Maybe. This one's an easy one. I don't think you'll have a difficult time with this one. What does a superstar grant you?
Sweet mercy of death.
large size, invisibility, flight, or invincibility.
I was gonna say invincibility. The and then it's over before you know it, and then you run into something, and you're like, "Damn it!" Yeah.
What year was Toad introduced as a character? Which I'm not sure about this, but we'll go with it. Was it 1980, 1990, 2000, or 1988? Which is a very specific year.
Yeah, like I feel like if you're going to go decade, 88, my brain wants to go to 88.
And you would be correct.
All right.
Introduced in Super Mario Brothers 2. All right. Whose official name... Jesus Christ. Whose official name is T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas? Is it Bowser, a Koopa, a Birdo, or Yoshi? I mean...
What?
Who's
got me like flabbergasted on that one.
All right, so put it this way. If you hear this name, what character do you think of? T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas.
T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas.
Who would you think?
Fun.
Whose name do you think that is?
Munchakoopas. Koopa? Munchakoopa? Munch on me?
Look at the middle name.
Sorry, I'm cracking myself up over here. Say it again.
T, like is in the letter T, like it's short for something, which I'm still, I think that...
period, like Thomas.
Yeah, like I want to know what the T stands for.
Okay.
Because the rest of this name is just ridiculous. T, Yoshisaur.
Yoshi. Let's just say Yoshi.
Munchakoopas. So we're going to say Yoshi.
Yes. So
yes.
we can move on because I'm going to keep...
Yeah, Yoshi is T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas.
Oh.
Because he munches on Koopas, right? I guess.
Oh. Nom nom.
Are we done? Did we finish? Because it's... There we go. Yay! I clicked on it. So I guess you are a Yoshi, according to this quiz, because you're cute, you're beloved, you're green, and you're well-versed in old-school Mario. You got
I think that's... Yeah, sure.
You got 18 out of 30 correct. So 200 total points, 9-question streak is your biggest streak.
Okay. Not amazing. A little more than half, but okay.
You did good. You did all right.
Yeah. Excellent.
There you go.
That was fun. Yeah. A little better than I usually do on the quizzes because my brain seizes up. And like all the things I thought I knew. Yeah, that's our show.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's our show. You can hit us up sometime on Twitter at Super Mega Crash or go to the Instagrams to view the weekly icon art Steven puts his time and love into. You can also send an email to supermegacrash@gmail.com and can support the show by liking and leaving reviews on your preferred podcast app and even going to patreon.com/pencil and paper productions. And if you want more than just podcasting, head on over to youtube.com/pencil and paper productions for more. We're getting great at Discord. Make us better by coming on over. Links are in the description down below. Thank you for listening. I am Lacey O'Finley.
And I'm Stephen White.
Join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then,
game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.